Have you ever stood by your bedroom window at dawn, just watching the soft morning light stretch across the walls? The way it touches the floor like an old friend, gently arriving without a sound? At this hour, the world feels quieter. The air is still, and for a moment, it's just you. Your breath, your heartbeat, your body, a little older, maybe a little stiffer than yesterday, but still here, still trying. Mornings after 60 can feel different, can't they? The joints don't move the way they used to. The thoughts come slower, and sometimes the silence feels louder than ever. But what if this silence holds something more? What if, hidden in these first quiet minutes of the day, are simple choices, gentle, powerful habits that don't just fill your morning, but quietly predict whether you'll see 90 and feel alive when you do? I wonder, dear friend, when was the last time you gave your morning a chance to heal you, to protect you, to carry you forward, stronger, not just older? If you're over 60, if you've ever felt like the best years are behind you, I hope you'll stay with me, because what comes next might just change the way you greet every morning from now on. And if any of this speaks to your heart, feel free to leave a comment below or simply subscribe. You're not alone here. This is your space too. Habit 1, the 30-second breathing practice, 478. What if I told you one of the biggest secrets to feeling better and potentially living longer was hiding right under your nose, quite literally? Imagine this, deep in the rugged mountains of Sardinia, where folks often live vibrant lives well into their 90s, wise old shepherds have a simple morning ritual. Before anything else, they step outside, breathe in the fresh air, and take a few slow, deliberate breaths. They don't do it because they read it in a book. They do it because they know deep down it sets them up for a good day. They report feeling more energized, their minds clearer. And guess what? Modern science is finally catching up, revealing just why this incredibly simple habit is so profoundly powerful. See, the funny thing is, most of us caught up in the whirlwind of daily life have forgotten how to breathe properly. We take short, shallow sips of air, barely using our lungs' full capacity. Ever notice how you hold your breath when you're stressed or concentrating? That's the problem. This kind of breathing constantly nudges our body's internal alarm system, keeping us in a low-grade state of fight or flight, even when there's no real danger. This simmering stress, day after day, acts like a silent thief, stealing our energy, weakening our immune system, and even speeding up aging at a cellular level. We just accept it as normal, not realizing we're missing out on a built-in tool to feel so much better. But here's the fantastic news. You can flip that switch, and it's ridiculously easy. All it takes is about 30 seconds each morning dedicated to a simple breathing technique, like the 4-7-8 method. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, breathe out for 8. Think of it as sending a direct message to your nervous system saying, "Hey, everything's cool, you can relax now." Research shows this brief practice can dramatically slash cellular stress markers by as much as 48%. It's like putting out tiny inflammatory fires inside your body. It also helps lower stress hormones like cortisol, that pesky hormone linked to everything from poor sleep to weight gain. Plus, it improves something called heart rate variability, HRV, which is basically a measure of your body's resilience and ability to handle stress. 30 seconds for all that? It sounds almost too good to be true, but the science backs it up. So what's the magic happening behind the scenes? It all comes down to intentionally activating a supernerve in your body called the vagus nerve. This nerve acts like a major communication highway, connecting your brain to many vital organs. When you breathe deeply and slowly, especially with a longer exhale, like in the 4-7-8 technique, you're gently stimulating this nerve. In response, it sends out calming signals, telling your body, no tiger chasing you, you can power down the alarm system and switch on the rest and repair mode. This shift isn't just a feeling of calm, it's a profound physiological change. It allows your body to divert precious resources away from dealing with perceived threats, real or imagined, and towards essential tasks like proper digestion, strong immune function, and repairing cellular damage. Essentially, you're consciously choosing to move from survival mode into thriving mode. Remember those Sardinian shepherds? They didn't need fancy studies to tell them that starting the day with intentional breathing felt good and kept them strong. It's wisdom passed down through generations. And now we have the amazing opportunity to blend that ancient wisdom with modern understanding. It costs nothing, takes almost no time, and the potential benefits for your energy, your mood, and your long-term health are immense. Just 30 seconds each morning. Isn't that worth trying? Second habit 2, immediate hydration. Could the secret weapon against morning brain fog and hidden heart strain be something you likely ignore until after your coffee, sitting right there on your nightstand? It sounds almost too simple to be true, right? We often wake up feeling a bit like a rusty engine, groggy, slow, maybe even a little fuzzy around the edges, and instinctively reach for that caffeine hit. But what if the real elixir your body is desperately crying out for is that humble glass of water? Here's the slightly startling reality of what happens while you're off in dreamland. Your body is constantly, quietly losing water. Through every breath you exhale, maybe a little perspiration, you become significantly dehydrated overnight. Now, this isn't just about filling a dry mouth. It fundamentally changes the very nature of your blood. Picture trying to push thick honey through delicate garden hoses instead of easily flowing water. That's a pretty good analogy for what your heart and circulatory system are up against first thing in the morning. Scientists sometimes call this morning blood sludging, and it means exactly what it sounds like. Your blood is literally thicker, stickier, and harder to move around. This forces your heart to work overtime right from the moment you wake up, puts extra strain on it, and makes it tougher for your brain to get the steady flow of oxygen and vital nutrients it needs to function sharply. Cue the dreaded brain fog. Over the long haul, this daily microstress can actually damage the sensitive lining of your blood vessels, subtly chipping away at your cardiovascular health and even accelerating the aging process at a cellular level. Think about it. You're essentially starting your day in a state of hidden internal stress, making your most vital organs struggle unnecessarily before you've even had breakfast. But here comes the beautifully simple, incredibly effective fix: a glass of water downed immediately upon waking. Yes, before the coffee, before scrolling through emails, before your feet even properly hit the floor. This immediate infusion of H2O acts like a gentle internal shower, waking up your entire system far more effectively than caffeine alone. The promise? It's surprisingly profound for such a basic action. Gulping down that water helps to quickly dilute that thick morning blood, taking a significant load off your hard-working heart and instantly improving circulation to your brain. This is your frontline defense against that morning grogginess and those frustrating, "Where did I put my keys?" moments that make you feel older than you are. Beyond that, it gives your kidneys a much-needed flush, helping them kickstart their crucial detoxification process and filter out waste products more efficiently. In essence, you're actively counteracting the dehydrating stress your body endured overnight, simply by replacing what was lost. It's like instantly switching the system back from pumping honey to pumping water. Everything just flows better, works more smoothly, and operates with significantly less strain. The core concept here is just acknowledging that overnight dehydration isn't trivial. It's a real physiological state your body enters every night. While you slept, your internal repair crews were busy, but fluid levels were dropping without any intake. That first glass of water is critical replenishment. It's not just about quenching thirst, it's about actively reversing the negative cascade effects of that overnight water deficit. It lubricates your joints and tissues, gently prepares your digestive system for breakfast, and sends a clear signal to your organs that they have the fluid resources they need to perform at their best. Consider it the simplest form of preventative maintenance, stopping that daily accumulation of microdamage caused by thick blood and strained organs right in its tracks. Still skeptical? Let me share Sylvia's story. At 72, Sylvia was doing pretty well, but found herself increasingly battling daytime fatigue and those annoying memory blips she'd reluctantly accepted as just part of aging. Her doctor had also mentioned her kidney function, while acceptable, wasn't quite what it used to be. Then she stumbled upon this idea of immediate morning hydration. Figuring it couldn't hurt, she committed to drinking a full glass of water right after waking up every single day. The transformation wasn't overnight, but gradually over several weeks, she distinctly noticed she had more energy in the mornings, and those frustrating moments of forgetfulness became less frequent. The real jaw-dropper came during her next routine checkup. Her doctor looked at her kidney function results, then looked again, genuinely surprised. They had improved by a remarkable 28%. He asked her what significant changes she'd made, a new diet, medication. Sylvia simply smiled and said, "Honestly, the main thing is, I started drinking a big glass of water as soon as I wake up." Her doctor was floored. Sylvia's experience is a powerful testament that sometimes the most impactful health shifts don't require complex protocols, but rather the consistent application of simple, fundamental wisdom. That initial glass of water didn't just make her feel sharper, it demonstrably improved her body's core functions, proving that this effortless habit is a genuine tool for combating overnight stress and fostering lasting vitality. Third habit 3, exposure to natural morning light. Let's transition to another seemingly small morning adjustment, one that holds colossal power over how you feel not just all day, but all night too. Imagine finding a switch that could fine-tune your body's internal clock, leading to deeper sleep, sharper focus, and even a healthier metabolism. And realizing this switch is activated simply by stepping outside for a few minutes after waking. It sounds almost too simple, yet many of us unknowingly leave this crucial switch flipped off, hindering our well-being by staying indoors during that vital early morning window. The reason this matters so much lies in our biology. Your body operates on a sophisticated internal 24-hour clock, the circadian rhythm, which acts like a master conductor for countless processes, including hormone release, body temperature, and, most critically, your sleep-wake cycle. Now here's the crucial connection. The single most important signal this internal conductor relies on to set the daily tempo is natural light hitting your eyes, ideally within the first 30 to 60 minutes after you wake. Unfortunately, our modern lifestyles often disrupt this essential process. We wake up, perhaps check a bright phone screen, sending a confusing, less effective signal, and then remain inside under relatively dim artificial lighting. This absence of a clear, strong, good morning signal from natural sunlight throws that internal conductor off beat. Consequently, a cascade of undesirable effects begins. Your body doesn't receive the unambiguous message to suppress the sleep hormone melatonin efficiently, leaving you feeling groggy instead of refreshed. Furthermore, it fails to trigger the optimal release of cortisol, the hormone meant to provide a natural, sustained energy boost to kickstart your day. This initial circadian disruption doesn't just spoil your morning, its negative impacts ripple outwards. It interferes with sleep quality later that night and, over time, this chronic misalignment is linked to a sluggish metabolism, difficulty managing weight, mood disturbances, impaired cognitive function, and even an increased long-term risk for serious neurodegenerative diseases. In essence, by missing nature's intended wake-up call, we inadvertently create a state of internal confusion that compounds day after day. However, there's a beautifully simple way to flip that switch back on and reap significant rewards. The promise of deliberately exposing yourself to natural morning light shortly after waking is truly remarkable because it directly addresses the root of this circadian confusion. When that specific wavelength and intensity of sunlight enters your eyes, even on overcast days, the signal is much stronger than indoor light. It sends an immediate, powerful message straight to your brain's master clock. This, in turn, initiates the correct hormonal sequence. It effectively slams the brakes on melatonin production, promoting alertness now. Simultaneously, it triggers a healthy cortisol awakening response, paving the way for sustained energy throughout the day and helping to eliminate that dreaded afternoon slump. Crucially, this morning light exposure also acts like setting a timer, informing your brain to begin preparing for sleep roughly 14 to 16 hours later by scheduling the evening release of melatonin. The result is a system reset. Easier sleep onset and improved sleep quality become much more attainable. Beyond just sleep and energy, the benefits extend further. Studies indicate this simple habit helps regulate appetite hormones, potentially boosting metabolism, enhances learning and memory consolidation, improves mood, and can even contribute to healthier blood pressure levels. Therefore, it's a foundational practice that aligns your entire biology for optimal performance throughout the day and night. The key concept underpinning all this is elegantly straightforward. Sunlight is nature's timekeeper. Our physiology evolved over millennia, expecting this bright morning signal to calibrate our internal rhythms daily. Artificial light, while useful, simply lacks the specific intensity and spectral composition required to perform this vital calibration effectively. Think of it this way. That early dose of natural light is the definitive signal telling your brain, okay, the day has officially begun. Activate daytime protocols now and schedule nighttime protocols for later. This precise regulation of hormones like cortisol, peaking in the morning, then gradually declining, and melatonin, remaining low during the day, then rising in the evening, is absolutely fundamental to our health. Without that clear morning signal, the entire system operates under a veil of ambiguity, leading to that persistent feeling of being out of sync. Perhaps a real-life example can illustrate this power most vividly. Let me tell you about Benjamin. For decades, literally since his 40s, Benjamin, now 75, had resigned himself to chronic insomnia. He often tossed and turned for hours, sometimes resorting to medication. Alongside this, he managed borderline high blood pressure and consistently battled draining afternoon energy crashes that left him feeling depleted by mid-afternoon. Having tried countless sleep hygiene strategies with little success, he learned about the potent effect of morning light. Though initially skeptical, he felt he had little to lose. He implemented a simple, consistent routine. Within 15 minutes of waking, he would step outside onto his porch, regardless of the weather, and simply stand there for 10 minutes. He'd sip his morning water, habit 2, reinforcing the synergy, and gaze towards the sky, avoiding direct sun gazing naturally. The changes weren't instantaneous, but they were steady. Within a couple of weeks, he noticed a reduction in morning grogginess. Then, quite remarkably, falling asleep became progressively easier. After about a month or two, his decades-long struggle with insomnia had practically disappeared. The positive effects didn't stop there. At his next doctor's appointment, his blood pressure had normalized into the healthy range, and he suddenly realized those debilitating afternoon energy slumps were a thing of the past. He felt more mentally clear and physically vibrant than he had in years. Benjamin's significant turnaround, achieved primarily by adding just 10 minutes of morning light exposure, powerfully underscores how profoundly this natural signal impacts our well-being. It's a clear demonstration that this isn't magic. It's biology, patiently waiting for us to step outside and allow the sun to synchronize our internal rhythms for optimal health. Habit 4. Protein and fiber-rich breakfast. Let's talk about the most important meal you might be getting wrong. Breakfast. Could that seemingly harmless bowl of cereal or slice of toast actually be setting your body up for an inflammatory firestorm and stealing your energy before the day truly begins? It's a surprising thought, isn't it? Especially when these foods are often marketed as quick energy sources. But here's the surprising truth. Many typical breakfast foods are packed with refined carbohydrates and sugars, but seriously lacking in the good stuff, protein and fiber. When this is the very first thing you eat after fasting all night, it hits your system like a sugar bomb. Your blood sugar shoots sky high really fast. Now your body's smart, so it quickly sends out a flood of insulin, think of it like an emergency crew, to deal with all that sugar. The problem is, this crew often overdoes it, pulling too much sugar out of your blood. And that's when the dreaded mid-morning crash hits. Suddenly you're feeling tired, maybe a bit grumpy, and desperately craving another quick fix, often something sugary or starchy. It becomes a vicious cycle, but the trouble doesn't stop at just feeling sluggish. This constant up and down of blood sugar is actually stressful for your body. It creates a kind of quiet, simmering irritation inside, what scientists call low-grade inflammation. Over time, This hidden inflammation is like pouring fuel on the fire for all sorts of health issues we associate with getting older. Things like heart problems, type 2 diabetes, and even fuzzy thinking. Plus, those big sugar and insulin spikes can actually damage tiny parts of your cells, almost like causing little bits of rust, subtly speeding up the aging process from the inside out. So that seemingly innocent breakfast might be doing more harm than good, kicking off your day with internal stress instead of calm energy. Now for the exciting part, there's a simple, delicious way to flip the script. Imagine starting your day feeling genuinely satisfied, having smooth, steady energy that lasts for hours, and knowing you're actually calming that internal irritation and supporting your body's repair crews. The secret weapon? Building your breakfast around protein and fiber. We're talking about aiming for a good amount, say around 25 grams of protein and at least 8 grams of fiber. Think eggs with veggies, Greek yogurt with nuts and berries, or even a smoothie packed with protein powder and chia seeds. Why does this work so much better? It's all about slowing things down. Protein and fiber are like slow-burning logs for your internal furnace, whereas those sugary carbs are like throwing kindling on the fire, a quick flare-up, then gone. This slow, steady digestion means no crazy blood sugar spikes and no frantic insulin rush. Your energy release is gradual and sustained. The results are pretty amazing. You feel fuller for much longer, kicking those annoying cravings to the curb. That internal simmering irritation, inflammation, cools right down. Some studies show a drop of over 50% compared to typical high-carb breakfasts. Plus, getting enough protein early gives your body the essential building blocks it needs for maintaining muscle, super important as we get older, and repairing cells throughout the day. You're essentially trading that stressful morning metabolic roller coaster for a smooth, supportive start that sets a positive tone for your entire body. So the big idea here is that your first meal has incredible power. It really does set the stage, like choosing the soundtrack for your body for the rest of the day. Starting with those quick carbs is like putting on chaotic music that stresses everyone out. Starting with protein and fibers like choosing calm, steady rhythms that help everything run smoothly. It's a strategic move away from damage and towards stability and repair. Let me tell you about Gerald. His story really brings this to life. Gerald is 68, and for years his go-to breakfast was simple toast and coffee. Sound familiar? He wasn't feeling his best, carrying extra weight, always hitting an energy wall in the afternoon. Then his doctor gave him the wake-up call. He was pre-diabetic, and tests showed his body was dealing with that hidden inflammation we talked about. Gerald decided things needed to change, and he focused solely on his breakfast. He ditched the toast and started having scrambled eggs loaded with spinach, maybe with a side of black beans. Or sometimes he'd go for Greek yogurt piled high with nuts and berries. That was pretty much the only big change he made. Fast forward a few months to his next checkup. The results were incredible. His blood sugar was back to normal. No more pre-diabetes. Those inflammatory markers dropped right back into the healthy zone. And guess what? He felt way more energetic all day long and had even shed some pounds without really trying or feeling hungry. Gerald's experience is such a fantastic example of how powerful switching up that first meal can be. It's not some complicated diet, just a smart swap that helped him literally turn his health around, proving that starting your day right truly can pave the way for feeling better, younger, and more vibrant. Habit 5. Gentle movement before breakfast. We've talked about what you eat first thing, but now let's consider what you do right after swinging your legs out of bed, even before that first sip of coffee or bite of food. Think about it. How do you usually feel when you first wake up? A little stiff? Maybe some aches in the joints? What if I told you that simply staying still, maybe shuffling straight to the kitchen, could actually be encouraging inflammation and making those joints feel worse over time? It sounds almost backward. Shouldn't rest be good? But in this specific morning window, gentle activity might be the secret key to feeling looser, less achy, and even protecting your joints long-term. The issue isn't movement itself, but the timing. When we wake up after hours of stillness overnight, our bodies, especially our joints, can accumulate a bit of inflammatory gunk and stiffness. If we immediately fuel up with breakfast without moving first, we miss a crucial opportunity. Staying sedentary in that pre-fuel state essentially tells our body, okay, business as usual, allowing those low-level inflammatory processes to linger and potentially contributing to the gradual wear and tear on our joints, like cartilage deterioration. It's like letting dust settle in the corners without ever sweeping it out before starting the day's activities. Over years, this seemingly small oversight can add up, contributing to chronic pain and reduced mobility. But here's the wonderfully simple and powerful flip side. What if you dedicated just a few minutes, literally just a handful of minutes, to some gentle movement before you eat or drink anything? Water is fine. The promise here is truly remarkable. By doing this, you tap into one of your body's most amazing built-in systems, cellular cleanup, also known as autophagy. Think of it as your internal recycling crew. When you move gently before introducing fuel, calories, your body gets a signal. Okay, no energy coming in yet. Let's use this time to tidy up. This process helps clear out damaged cells and debris, including those inflammatory compounds that build up overnight. The impact on your joints can be profound. Studies suggest this simple practice can reduce joint deterioration by a staggering amount, potentially up to 65%. It actively helps decrease inflammation, which in turn leads to less pain and stiffness, making you feel more fluid and comfortable right from the start of your day. The core idea is leveraging that unique fasted state right after waking. Movement during this window acts like flipping a switch, telling your cells, initiate cleanup sequence. It's particularly beneficial for our cartilage and joint tissues, which don't have a direct blood supply and rely on movement to help flush out waste products and bring in nutrients. That overnight stiffness, gentle movement helps lubricate the joints and signals the body to start clearing out the inflammatory factors contributing to it. It's not about intense exercise, it's about gentle activation. Think slow stretches, joint circles, ankles, wrists, hips, shoulders, maybe some gentle spinal twists or cat-cow stretches. You're essentially waking up your body's natural maintenance system before putting any demands on it. Let me share Harriet's story because it's a perfect example of this principle in action. Harriet, at 68, was facing a future she dreaded. Debilitating arthritis in her knees had become so severe that her doctor told her knee replacement surgery was pretty much inevitable. The pain was constant, limiting her ability to enjoy walks, play with her grandkids, or even just move comfortably around her house. Feeling desperate but hesitant about major surgery, she heard about the potential benefits of gentle morning movement before eating. Skeptical but willing to try anything, she committed to just 7 minutes each morning. Before her coffee, before anything else, she'd stand by her bed and do slow, gentle movements, ankle circles, knee bends, as much as was comfortable. Hip circles, arm swings, gentle neck rolls. Nothing strenuous, just waking things up. The change wasn't overnight, but it was steady. Within a few weeks, she noticed the morning stiffness wasn't quite as intense. Over several months, the difference was undeniable. Her daily pain levels decreased significantly. Her mobility improved. At her next orthopedic appointment, her doctor was astonished. The inflammation had visibly reduced, and while her arthritis hadn't vanished, the need for immediate surgery had. Harriet had effectively managed her condition and reclaimed her quality of life, not through drugs or surgery, but through 7 minutes of gentle, intentional movement before breakfast. Her story is a powerful testament that this simple habit isn't just a nice-to-have. It can be a life-changing strategy for managing joint pain, reducing inflammation, and activating your body's incredible self-healing potential, all before your day even truly begins. Habit 6, morning social connection. Picture this. You've nailed your morning routine. Maybe some gentle stretches, a healthy breakfast planned. But what if I told you the most powerful health boost you can give yourself before 10 a.m. has nothing to do with kale smoothies or hitting the gym, and everything to do with a simple, heartfelt chat? It sounds almost too easy, doesn't it? We spend so much time thinking about what to eat, how to move, which supplements to take, that we often forget about something incredibly fundamental: genuine human connection. And here's the kicker. Feeling isolated or just rushing through our mornings solo isn't just a bit lonely. It can actually be tough on our physical health. Seriously, researchers have compared the health risks of chronic loneliness to smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. When we just roll out of bed and straight into our to-do lists without connecting, we miss this golden opportunity to flood our system with good vibes right at the start, leaving us potentially more vulnerable to stress as the day unfolds. But here's the wonderfully uplifting news, the real promise. Making a little time for real, warm connection with someone, anyone, before the clock strikes 10 a.m. can be like finding a secret key to a longer, happier, and healthier life. It's not just a fuzzy feeling. The numbers are actually pretty amazing. Studies show that people who make this a regular habit tend to live significantly longer, slashing their risk of dying early by almost 30%. Think about that. A friendly chat could be one of the most powerful health interventions you make all day. It's linked to better heart health, a stronger immune system, yes, fewer sniffles, and just an overall sense of well-being that ripples through your entire day. It's like giving your body an invisible shield made of good conversation and shared smiles. So what's the secret sauce here? Why is morning connection so special? It's all about timing and the amazing chemistry happening inside us. When you share a laugh with your partner over coffee, have a quick uplifting call with a friend, or even just exchange a genuinely warm greeting with your neighbor or the person at the coffee shop, your brain does this wonderful thing. It releases a cascade of feel-good chemicals. These are the natural mood boosters and stress busters, like oxytocin, that warm, fuzzy bonding hormone, and serotonin. They don't just make you feel good emotionally, they physically calm your system, lower stress hormones, reduce inflammation, and create this sense of safety and belonging. Starting this positive chemical reaction early seems to set the tone for your whole body for hours to come. It's like tuning your internal radio to a happy station first thing, making it much harder for the static of daily stress to take over later. Waiting until evening to connect is still lovely, of course, but you miss that prime opportunity to build this protective, positive foundation for the day. And if you need proof that this isn't just some new age idea, look no further than the incredible people of Okinawa, Japan. You've probably heard of them. They're famous for living exceptionally long, vibrant lives. One of their secrets? They have this beautiful tradition called moai, which are basically lifelong support groups, friends who stick together through thick and thin. And a key part of this is often their informal morning check-ins. It might just be sharing tea, chatting over the garden fence, or a quick visit. It's woven into the fabric of their day. These Okinawan elders will tell you that this connection is absolutely essential to their well-being, and science backs them up, showing lower stress levels and better heart health in their communities. They instinctively know what researchers are now confirming. Starting your day by connecting with others isn't just nice, it's vital. So maybe tomorrow, before diving into the day's demands, take 5 minutes, make that call, have that chat, share that smile. It might just be the healthiest thing you do all day. Habit 7, directed gratitude practice. Imagine if the secret to actually changing your brain for the better, calming your daily stress, and even giving your heart health a boost wasn't found in a pill bottle, but in simply saying a heartfelt thank you to your own body for just 2 minutes each morning. It sounds almost too simple, right? Let's be honest. How often do we wake up and the first thing we notice is that creaky knee, the crick in our neck, or just that overall feeling of, morning? We tend to zoom in on the little aches and pains, or maybe we just rush into the day without giving our amazing bodies a second thought. Unless something goes wrong, of course. It's like having this incredible loyal friend who's always there, and we forget to appreciate them. By doing this, by focusing on the negatives or just ignoring the positives, we're actually missing out on a scientifically proven way to make ourselves feel better, think clearer, and even live healthier. But here's the really hopeful, almost magical part. Taking just a couple of minutes right after you wake up to intentionally send some gratitude towards your body can kickstart some incredible changes. We're not just talking about feeling a bit happier, though that happens too. Studies show this simple practice can literally help reshape the pathways in your brain, making you more resilient as you age. And get this, it can lower your levels of the stress hormone cortisol, by a whopping 23%. Think about starting your day with nearly a quarter less stress juice flowing through your veins. That means feeling calmer, less likely to fly off the handle, and more emotionally steady. Plus, this little ritual is linked to healthier blood pressure and a happier heart overall. It's like giving your body a daily dose of appreciation that acts like a soothing balm from the inside out. So what's going on here? How can just thinking thankful thoughts do all that? It boils down to the amazing power of where you put your focus, especially first thing in the morning. When you consciously direct warm, appreciative feelings towards, or say, your lungs for breathing all night, or your feet for getting you ready to stand, you're essentially flipping a switch in your nervous system. You're moving it out of that anxious, alert, uh-oh mode and into a calm, safe, everything is okay state. This does more than just relax you. It actually encourages your brain to build stronger connections in the areas related to happiness and well-being. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, but you can just think of it as positive brain rewiring. By specifically thanking your body, you're sending it powerful signals of safety and care, which helps buffer it against the physical toll of stress. Let me tell you about Patricia. Her story really brings us home. Patricia is a wonderful woman in her 70s who was getting really frustrated with her stubborn high blood pressure. Doctors called it resistant hypertension because medications just weren't getting it fully under control. Her heart health readings, specifically something called heart rate variability, which shows how well your heart handles stress, were also a bit worrying. She decided to try something different, something small. Every single morning, for just 2 minutes, she'd lie in bed and mentally thank different parts of her body. Thank you, heart, for beating so steadily. Thank you, legs, for letting me walk. Thank you, eyes, for showing me the sunrise. Simple, right? But the results were astonishing. Over a few months, her blood pressure numbers started to behave, becoming much more stable and closer to the healthy range. Her heart rate variability improved too. Patricia's experience is such a beautiful reminder that this isn't just wishful thinking. Taking those couple of minutes to connect with and appreciate the incredible vessel carrying you through life can have truly profound effects on your health and happiness. It's a tiny investment for a massive return. Soft, reflective music swells slightly and then softens again. As we close this quiet walk through the morning hours, I hope you've come to see that it doesn't take grand gestures to change the course of your life. Sometimes it's as simple as a breath held a moment longer, a glass of water before the world wakes, the feel of sunlight brushing your face, a breakfast that nourishes, not just fills, or the warmth of a kind voice before the day unfolds. These aren't just habits. They are quiet promises we make to ourselves. To honor the body that's carried us this far, to greet each new day not as something to endure, but as a gift we still have the power to shape. And maybe that's the real secret to living past 90, not just in years, but in depth, in grace, in how gently and intentionally we meet the morning. If these words found you at the right moment, if they reminded you of your own quiet strength, I invite you to stay, subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and above all, keep choosing yourself each morning because you are still here, and that in itself is something beautiful.